Hi everybody, it's John back with another model inbox review, and you must be looking at this image and thinking, what the hell is that? Well, these are actually a couple of bullfinches. They're a pair of bullfinch, female and male, and believe it or not, you can buy a model of just what you're looking at, a pair of bullfinches. And we'll talk about the series of the kits and the conclusions when I run them up. Basically, the model I'm doing an inbox review on today is from the Airfix Wildlife series, and it comes in the form of this. Originally released in 1977, Airfix originally released three model bird sets in their 1-to-1 scale life-like wildlife series, and funnily enough, what you're looking at here is the first edition marked new on the box because they were brand new when they came out in 1977, and this is actually the boxing I've got. Now the box that I've got is pretty diabolical. It's pretty badly beaten up. It doesn't look anything like that. Well, it is the same box, but the condition of that box that you're looking at on the computer screen is top notch, just like it's come out of the factory. And the one I've got looks like it's come out of Chernobyl. We'll have a look at that in a minute. 1977, the first rendition. I quite like this box. It's got like a classic photo frame image around the front, and you've got the new stamp label there which proves it's a 77 release of the Bullfinches. They also did in the initial releases the robins and a set of blue tits, all in two bird sets of a matching couple, or paired pair of birds, male and female, which they're quite nice. I quite like them. Anyway, 1978 was the next rendition, and basically it was the same box as what you had before, but they removed the new logo from the side here. It's got the Priahula, which is the Latin name for bullfinches, which is quite nice. So that's the 1978 rendition. They also reintroduced a new style of box, but it had the same artwork with the planetoid label in 1980. It's exactly the same box inside, but they just had a white box lid sort of bordered by a yellow surround and a classical style photo frame, but they simplified the photo frame because it used to have a red and yellow doubled up photo frame finish around the outside, but now they've extended the yellow section to the whole of the box lid, which is quite nice. I quite like this box art as well, but as I said, the actual art of the birds themselves, it never changed at all. 1980 went through to 1983, and this was the last rendition of the kit. Again, it's still in the planetoid labels because when I can't remember the company that took over Airfix. I think they were called Borden Incorporated. When they took over this company, there were an awful lot of old boxes and kits in storage and stock that they had to get rid of, and they obviously had to use up some of the boxings as well, which carried over into their image, even though they started releasing kits in what I call the blueprint style boxing, with a model made up on top of a blueprint with no artwork at all. But that was 1983. Another interesting thing about this picture is that it shows the price in 1983 of £1.50. That was about right for a Series 3 kit in 1983. They went for about £1.50. I can remember Series 4 and Series 5 kits. The Series 4 kit I think was £1.99, and the Series 5 kits were £2.65. And they were that price right up to about 1985, 86. But the prices started to rocket up after the mid-1980s was finished. Interestingly enough, Airfix isn't the only company that released this kit. It was also released by a company called Gunzai Sanyo. It's the same artwork as the Airfix kit because it's actually a reboxed Airfix kit, and Gunzai Sanyo reboxed this model in 1999, and I'm pretty sure they still issue it now. I've got a feeling Gunzai Sanyo bought up all the Wildlife series molds from I think it was from McGuinness when the Irish pair got hold of Airfix. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame that they sold these, because I quite like these kits, and it's a shame Airfix can't produce them again. But Gunzai Sanyo obviously is a Japanese firm, and they sell them on the Japanese market, and apparently they do quite well in their home market in Japan. A nice image to finish up with. This is a mating pair here. The female is the lighter coloured bird on the left, and the male has the red plumage and grey and black on the top. The female seems to be a bit more drab than the male's very colourful image. We'll just bring the camera down so we can have a look at this kit. It's an unusual model, and probably one that isn't in the niche of most people who watch my videos, but I think sometimes modelling, to introduce a new thing into your modelling experience, increases your mojo in many different ways. But this kit will also appeal to a different type of modeller, one who likes to pay particular attention to the paintwork and trying to make their kits incredibly good looking, if you like. The kit's released in Series 3. You've got the paint codes there on the side. These are the Airfix paint codes, of course. The kit is aimed at ages 8 to adult, and you've got their Haldane Place address there on the side of the box, and an image there of what model looks like when it's made up, which is quite nice. It also states on this side that the kit is actual size, 1:1 scale, and includes 2 bird figures plus a decorative stand shown on the main illustration, together with assembly instructions and full colour painting. I'll just turn this box the other way up, because there's also something else. In 1977, when this kit was released, it went for 65p, and that is the original price tag. Don't know what shop it is, whose price tag shop that is, I'm not sure. But in the mid to late 70s, Airfix Series 3 kits went for about 60 to 70p. So all you guys out there that can remember models being much cheaper, well, you're not just imagining it, they really were. We'll have a look at the kit inside, because it's quite interesting. There's no decals on this kit whatsoever, so we'll just jump straight into the instructions. The instructions is a sort of a cut down A5, and there's a nice colourway there, lithograph of what the kit should look like. And this is a guide for painting the model when it's finished. And you can vary the shades of colour shown on the illustration, which can be achieved by blending different colours into the paint when you paint it. On the other side of the instruction, you've got like a plan in the world of where bullfinches commonly appear. And this is a little bit misleading, because in the Orient and Japan, bullfinches are a slightly different type of bird. They're a little bit bigger, and their colour plumage is very different, but they're pretty prolific in Europe, and the European ones are just like they are in this kit. Also, you've got some information there on the bullfinch, which is quite nice. See that? And then you've got the instructions themselves. Now, this kit isn't difficult to assemble in terms of the parts going together, but I do want to talk about the last section, when you put everything together and marry it all up. Section 1, you basically put in the flowers and the little branches that come off the main log together, and there aren't many parts there, but there are quite a lot of flowers in this kit, and the flowers in this kit are quite nice. The birds, they build up very quickly, no real serious issues there. I'm not expecting any fit issues with this kit, and I'll explain why that is in a moment. The log goes together in section 3, and the stand, which is here. You'll have a look at the stand in a minute. And then in section 4, you're basically filling everything together and then putting the leaves in place. Now, this is where these kits can be a little bit tricky, because placing the birds onto the log requires you to glue the feet onto the log, and this the log is best painted before you assemble everything together, but of course in doing that you have to remove the paint before you can glue the bird's legs onto it. But they have got separate claws behind their feet. Can you see those? The separate parts. And what I found, because I've actually built one of these kits before, and you'll probably see one on one of my slideshows of John's modelling world soon, but what I found with these claws is that you can glue the bird in place, and then you can glue those claws in place so that they actually grab the log behind the bird's feet, and it looks far more authentic when you do that. And then you glue all the flowers in place, and these are best painted before you assemble the whole lot together, and then put the birds in place around everything. But these leaves can be quite tricky to adhere to the log and these parts here, because they have to go onto these little twig parts here, and they can be quite tricky to get into place. But these again are best painted before you assemble. But this part, this section of the instructions, is probably the most finicky and difficult to get the best results from, because of the method of construction that Airfix have used to produce this kit. But I must strongly stress that these kits are extremely accurate, and I found building the robins, which I built in the past, really rewarding. They were really rewarding kits to put together. The parts, what I'll do quickly first of all is I'll just put these parts into this box and get everything else. You can have a look at it. There's quite a lot of parts off sprue here, but I have checked this kit prior to putting it together, prior to doing the review, and it's all here, definitely all here, which is great. I'll just show you the bits. I'll show you the bits on sprue before I show you the bits off sprue, and I won't need to go through all of the bits on sprue or off sprue, because a lot of them are just repeats of the original parts. But I do want to show you the attention to detail that Airfix have done with this particular kit. The first sprue we've got here, you've got a set of 4 eyes on the top. They're the bird's eyes, and this is quite good as well because you can actually paint those before you glue them in place. That's the location pins on that side, can you see? And on the front side you've got the eye ball itself. And these parts here, these are the stamens for the flowers. And I can't remember how these go together, but I'll probably, actually, let's have a look, see what it says on the instructions. I think they go, right, yeah, they go on the inside, and you've got to flay them out. Right, so basically what you do is, they're nice and flat at the moment, but before you adhere these to the flowers, you have to push these stamens out, and then they glue into this part here. Quite simple. And the flower itself is quite nicely detailed. You can see the petal features there, and the stamens are quite nice as well. They're quite nicely cast. And the backs of the flower there, I won't need to show any of the other flowers because they're all pretty much of a muchness. But I do want to show you some of the parts. This is one of the wings of the bullfinch, and you can see the detail on it. Even the feathers, the texture of that part is actually quite nice. And these do paint up really nicely. You've got some of the leaves on the back of the leaves. You've got the ribbing on the leaf there, and all those little edges to the leaf edge, which is really, really nice. The attention to detail on these kits is pretty good. The top of the leaves there, you can see again that detail. That's going to paint up beautiful, isn't it? Really nice. And then you've got the underside of the bird's feet. Again, that's nicely moulded, and you can see, there we go, nicely moulded as well. Very nice piece of work. And the claws, these are the separate claws that go at the back of the feet, and they do look very nice indeed. Very impressed. The log, it's probably best if I just test fit the log for you so you can get the impression, but basically you've got 2 parts here. There's your 2 parts of the log, and you put it together to produce this. Now I think when you paint that up, it's going to look nice. It's going to look very nice. The one with the robins kit really did, oops, sorry about that, really did look nice. And you've even got the rings on the tree bark at the back there, which is really good too. Trying to see if it will come into focus, and it's not really having it very much. But the detail on that is really, really good. You've got a location pin underneath to put the log onto the stand. That sprue hasn't got any parts on it, which is a shame. Here's one of the twigs. That's quite nice as well. You can see the detail on that, and the texture. It's all been really nicely moulded, which is quite good. I like that. And then you've got the stand. It's just a piece of rock really, isn't it? Like a stone. Not much to write home about that, but you could go to town painting that up and it would look really nice. it would look very good indeed. That's another one of the logs, another flower. You don't need any of that. You've seen all those. You've seen all those. Now then, you've seen all that as well. The bird parts that make up the bulk of the bird. I think that's all of it. You've seen the wings. You don't need to see any more of the wings. 4 wings. What I want to show you now is the bulk of the bird. This is what this guy looks like. Can you see? Look at the texture that they've put into moulding the feathers into this bird part here. When you paint that up, it's going to look really, really good. Very, very impressed. The beak on that one's slightly open, so you're going to have to paint the inside of that before you assemble it. And then you've got this bird, and this bird assembles in 3 separate parts. And there's a reason for that. It's because I think this bird has a very open beak. There we go. And it just fits together a bit more complicatedly. But the parts on that, can you see you've got definition of feathers on there now. That goes underneath slightly. And the definition of the feathers is really, really good. Whoops. And I'm really impressed with the attention to detail. The actual forging of the parts is really, really good. Even the tail feathers on this particular bird, you know, look at it, it's really, really nice. Very impressed. Underside as well. Very impressed with the parts on this kit. It looks really, really nice. So that's the parts. And basically the inbox review finished. I just want to go through the Gumph to show you. There's not a lot on the Gumph because obviously there's not a lot of options. There aren't many companies building birds on the open market, which is a shame, but but what there is out there is quite good. There's another company I think in Japan that build quite a number of exotic birds of paradise, but as far as European birds go, it's really Airfix. They were the only company that did it. The model we're doing an inbox review is the Airfix Bullfinches. Its serial number is 03830-2, and it was in the Series 3 boxing. The release date was 1977, and they're lifelike 1:1 scale. Now the dimensions of the overall kit is about 5 inches long by 5 inches wide, and they should sit 4 3/4 inches high on its stand, but the birds are about 4.5 inches long by about 1.5 inches wide. There are 46 parts in total on 5 white plastic sprues, although there are a lot of parts loose in this boxing. The options and costs are very, very limited. In 1:1 scale, Airfix of course did the Bullfinches, and these kits retail for anything from £10 to £30. But I have seen very good examples going of all of the Airfix birds, and they usually go, if they're in good condition, they usually go for an excess of 25 to 40 quid. Gunzai Sanyo's reboxed Airfix repop of the Bullfinches, that kit goes for 25 to 30 quid, and it's exactly the same model inside. They haven't changed a thing. Conclusions. Now, Airfix did a range of 1:1 scale wildlife series kits, all of which were pretty good and very accurate models. They were easy to build, and the attention to detail was surprisingly good, and each had a unique stand. They make very nice house ornaments and are very rewarding for you guys and girls that like to pay a lot of attention to the paint jobs on their kits. I have all 3 of the original release kits in this series, the Bullfinches, the Blue Tits and the Robins, which I built about 12 months ago. The 3 original releases are still fairly easy to acquire, but kits like the Kingfisher and the Woodpecker and the Little Owl are now fetching really stupid prices. If you can get one of these later release kits for less than 20 quid, you've done really, really well. The inbox review for the Bullfinches is now finished. I hope this inbox review video has been interesting, if not useful. yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you've got any queries, questions, just pop them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. And thanks for tuning in, and may all your projects run really smoothly. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.